Bob Southey, you're a poet, laureate, and representative of all the race, although 'tis true that you turned out a Tory at last. Yours has lately been a common case, and now my epic renegade. What are ye at, with all the Lakers in and out of place, a nest of tuneful persons, to my eye? Like 24 blackbirds in a pie, which pie being opened, they began to sing. This old song and new simile holds good, a dainty dish to set before the king, or regent who admires such kind of food. And Coleridge, too, has lately taken wing, but like a hawk, encumbered with his hood, explaining metaphysics to the nation. I wish he would explain his explanation. You, Bob, are rather insolent, you know, at being disappointed in your wish to supersede all warblers here below and be the only blackbird in the dish. And then you overstrain yourself, or so, and tumble downward like the flying fish, gasping on deck, because you soar too high, Bob, and fall, for lack of moisture, quite a dry Bob. And Wordsworth, in a rather long excursion, I think the quarto holds 500 pages, has given a sample from the Vasty version of his new system to perplex the sages. 'Tis poetry, at least by his assertion, and may appear so when Dogstar rages, and he who understands it would be able to add a story to the Tower of Babel. You, gentlemen, by dint of long seclusion from better company, have kept your own at Keswick, and through still continued fusion of one another's minds, at last have grown to deem as a most logical conclusion that poesy has wreaths for you alone. There is a narrowness in such a notion which makes me wish you'd change your lakes for ocean. I would not imitate the petty thought, nor coin myself love to so base a vice, for all the glory your conversion brought, since gold alone should not have been its price. You have your salary, wasn't for that you wrought, and Wordsworth has his place in the excise. Your shabby fellows, true, but poets still, and duly seated on the immortal hill. Your bays may hide the baldness of your brows, perhaps some virtuous blushes. Let them go. To you, I envy neither fruit nor boughs, and for the fame you would engross below, the field is universal and allows scope to all such, feel the inherent glow. Scott, Rogers, Campbell, Moore, and Crabbe will try gainst you the question with posterity. For me, who, wandering with pedestrian muses, contend not with you on the winged steed, I wish your fate may yield ye, when she chooses, the fame you envy and the skill you need. And recollect, a poet nothing loses in giving to his brethren their full meed of merit, and complaint of present days is not the certain path to future praise. He that reserves his laurels for posterity, who does not often claim bright reversion, has generally no great crop to spare it, being only injured by his own assertion. And although here and there some glorious rarity arise like Titan from the sea's immersion, the major part of such appellants go to God knows where, for no one else can know. If fallen in evil days on evil tongues, Milton appealed to the avenger, time. If time, the avenger, execrates his wrongs and makes the word Miltonic mean sublime, he deigned not to lie his soul in songs, nor turn his very talent to a crime. He did not loathe the sire, to laud the son, but close the tyrant. Hater he begun. Think'st thou, could he, the blind old man, arise, like Samuel, from the grave, to freeze once more the blood of monarchs with his prophecy, or be alive again, all whore, with time and trials and those helpless eyes and heartless daughters, worn and pale and poor? Would he adore a sultan? He obey the intellectual eunuch castlerer, cold, blooded, smooth, focked, placid miscreant, dabbling its sleek young hands in Erin's gore, and thus, for wider carnage taught to pant, transferred to gorge upon a sister shore, the vulgarest tool that tyranny could want, with just enough of talent and no more, to lengthen fetters by another fixed, and offer poison long already mixed, an orator of such set trash of phrase, ineffably, legitimately vile, that even its grossest flatterers dare not praise, nor foes, all nations, condescend to smile. Not even a sprightly blunder spark can blaze from that Ixion grindstone's ceaseless toil, that turns and turns to give the world a notion of endless torments and perpetual motion. A bungler, even in its disgusting trade, and botching, patching, leaving, still behind, something of which its masters are afraid, states to be curbed, and thoughts to be confin, conspiracy or congress to be made, cobbling at manacles for all mankind, a tinkering slave-maker, who mends old chains, with God and man's abhorrence for its gains, if we may judge of matter by the mind, emasculated to the marrow it, hath but two objects, how to serve and bind, deeming the chain it wears even men may fit, Eutropius of its many masters, blind to worth as freedom, wisdom as to wit, fearless, because no feeling dwells in ice, its very courage stagnates to a vice. Where shall I turn me, not to view its bonds, for I will never feel them? Italy, by late reviving Roman soul desponds, beneath the lie, this state thing, breathed o'er thee by the clanking chain, and Erin's yet green wounds have voices, tongues to cry aloud for me. Europe has slaves, allies, kings, armies still, and Southey lives to sing them very ill. Meantime, Sir Laureate, I proceed to dedicate, in honest simple verse, this song to you, and if in flattering strains I do not predicate, 'tis that I still retain my buff and blue. My politics as yet are all to educate, apostasies so fashionable too. To keep one creed's a task grown quite Herculean. Is it not so, my Tory ultra? Julian,